but I want to hear more from the Tofu Academy. Teacher Kin, take it away.
All right, welcome back to the Tofu Academy production. I'm gonna request for a little bit more time. I have some golden nuggets to drop. This is half of a quote by Sun Tzu, right? Which is, if you know your enemies and you know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. And that's exactly what Bleed did. So let me give you a little bit of context. This whole game is just centered on FMM as well as Baksha, right? So with from the moment FMM gets that Flask of Oasis, and with the addition of Baksha Mark, until the point Bleed gets all of the magic and physical pierce, such as your Divine Glaive, your Sea Halberd, and whatever other pierce you could have, Bleed was not going to have a good game. And that was the game plan that RL19 had for the side of Asterisk. So at this juncture of time is where Bleed outran the time cap. And at this point, the reason why Gear is the MVP is because he only had one job. His job was to catch FMM. And if you take a look at this, this is how they broke it down. Number one, there are a lot of shields in this, coming in the form of Bear as well as JH. So the first thing that Bleed did successfully was actually to chunk down Bear here. Who's going to be the first person to fall on the lineup from the roster on this side of Asterisk? Right then there, we talked about Jay having so much damage, over 200,000 worth of damage, and this is where his value comes in. But this is the moment where the entirety of all Bleed fans and Bleed players were waiting for. It is at this exact moment where FMM took a step too far forward. Right in the faces of Yon, in the faces of Seiji, as well as Gear and Jay. Once that is down, you are out of your guiding wind. There's no more defense, there's no more additional shielding, and that's where Asterisk lost all advantage, and it was just game on for Bleed. So it's a very clean and clear result for Bleed. They understood what they needed to do. They outlasted the competition, got the win from there, killed off the win condition, which came in the form of FMM. Now, that is all from me from this time for Tofu Academy. Boys, it's back to you. It is 1-1 right now.
1-1 is such an exciting time right now, even if you are a Bleed or Asterisk fan. Super exciting. We've had great games so far, and I cannot wait to see how the rest of the series plays out.
It's essentially a best of 3 at this point, right? Like, yeah, I mean, you know, the whole psychological hits that both teams have taken at this point, but getting themselves into this one, you got to think about it. It's, okay, not the end of the world. We can afford to lose another game if we want, but obviously we need to bounce back. Game 3, it tends to find are the most pivotal in terms of what you want to do. Because again, you were talking about the fact that, you know, you want game 2, you get to roll into game 3, right? This is a situation where Asterisk, they need to turn this around. They need to stem the bleeding, so to speak. They need to win this one out so that game 4, they have a much better state of mind going into game 4.
Or I guess you could say that, you know, you just hope that the Bleed clots up, right? And then just not able to move and just becomes a scab, and then you can just flick it off.
Okay. That the scabs take a little bit of time. I don't know if we have that in our best of 5, but nonetheless, your analogy works. And no, I agree with you.
Yeah, no. Any thoughts from you, Abstract, going into this third game where we see Abstract, where we see Asterisk face off against Bleed?
Honestly, I don't really have too much thoughts about it because it has been back and forth between Asterisk as well as Bleed. They haven't really necessarily shown everything, like all the aces and the sleeves, perhaps, if they still have any. Now it's more of a survival of the fittest. They're gonna have to do whatever that they can in order to keep themselves afloat, and every score is gonna be a leading score.
All right, last thing before we get into the drafting phase, Abstract, I give you one chance to change your prediction.
3-1.
3-1 to?
Still, 3-1 for Asterisk.
All right, perfect. 3-1 to Asterisk is Abstract's new.
Maybe.
No. You've locked it in. No. You've locked it in. You may proceed. So going into the drafting phase, we have the chip ban. Once again, I still question this chip ban, bro.
Why? No, because there's so much, like the portal play, when you do it right and you have the right team synergy, it is just so powerful. It catches teams off guard. You have so much potential for the outflank. Very important. And there's a reason also why Asterisk counterbanned that with the Lo Yi here.
Lo Yi is really good in the hands of Kiwi, so I was actually surprised it ended up forcing Bleed to ban it. I guess Jay also plays the Loi very, very, very well. So that's probably why the Loi got banned out. Kaja being banned out for the side of Bleed, though, is a little bit of a question mark.
No, it's not a question mark. They're like, Gear, you played it too well. We're gonna ban it. It's just not fair.
You think
right?
that's? Do you
I'm
think
gonna
that's
give the enemy. No, I don't at all. Obviously, they have something else in mind. But I mean, Gear played it to the T, and that's exactly what you want to do in terms of the Kaja. So it's one of those situations where we're gonna try something new, and we're just gonna ban it out. I don't think that Asterisk would have picked it up because they had their own first pick. They don't want Asterisk to pick it up in the first phase.
Yeah, but the thing is, FMM also has a really good Kaja gameplay as well, right? So like, I'm just probably why. I don't know. I'm still kind of poking the air at this point. But we do see bans of Faramis and Valentina being banned out for the side of Bleed and Asterisk as the last bans. Novaria first pick, Edith and Fredrin first pick for the side of Asterisk.
Yeah, good first picks, right? Edith wants to go at you. You have a lot of potential for him to make plays. And it's somewhat like role, flexible, right? So you have an extra element from where Edith can be, right? So I do like that pick, but look at Bleed Esports going right back to the well, so to speak. Carry being picked up here with the Akai. I like this combination here because Akai is also kind of flexible in that own way. And it has a lot of control, right? Which you need to do especially against when you're looking to protect the Novaria and the carry.
For sure. I'm just surprised that Carry got picked up so early. Yes, we saw Seiji have an excellent game with Carry earlier on, but Carry is not typically a gold laner that you want to show so early because Carry has very short range, right? So Carry can get countered and actually bullied out by the Roger. Roger indeed being picked up on the side of Asterisk. True, playing the Roger pretty well as well. So honestly, the Carry pick is a little bit confusing coming out from Bleed so early.
It's okay. It's a continuation of the last game, right? It's one of those things that we just have damage. We know what we can do. I mean, the fact that she has an escape, she has potential, right? And but if we're going to talk a little bit about this Roger pick from Asterisk, I kind of like it, right? Again, Roger very, very highly picked. Yeah, that win rate is abysmal, like 35%, but it fits in with what Fredrin and Edith want to do. Fredrin is going to start everything because he's so tanky. Edith is going to just back him up with the Earth Shatters. And then Roger's there literally clean up, right? He's the janitor. He's going to clean up everybody. So the potential for run at you monkey man style of play, the potential's there.
Monkey or Wolfman, I guess.
Yes.
Totally
yes.
Wolfman. Because Monkey Man is son.
Okay. Well, you know what I mean. The strategy, the brain dead of me run at you. I'm assuming that's how monkeys do. I don't know.
Monkeys can talk? Where are you going with this?
Yeah. Have you not? No. Did you not watch Planet of the Apes? It's like
I actually haven't watched it yet. So there you go.
Okay.
So Pete is banned out. Yuzong and Asterisk has banned out the Arlott. Arlott evidently being target banned towards the Gitnu and Gear. I'm pretty sure Blade is pretty happy with Arlott being a forced ban because they're like, look, we're gonna not have to deal with the missed slashes again, I guess.
Yeah.
Air slashes.
Ooh, yes. Yes. There were many. And then, maybe they were doing them a favor. I'm not sure, but the ban here with the Grok, again, just being able to split up the enemy team or to slow Roger down, maybe cut him off. It could be a potential issue for Asterisk. So I like that ban there. But Bleed Esports, they need a way to just slow the tempo down a bit, right? How do you counter this run at you play style? You need more than just the Akai. So they're going to have to pick something up in this last phase.
Yeah, I am very curious to see what Bleed has cooking up in their pockets. We see a Paquito being banned out as that last ban coming out for the side of Bleed. We've seen Bear play it, but in terms of split pushes and burst damage, Bear also can play the Benedetta, right? So Sagino being the last ban is a little bit of a question mark, but we'll see what both teams have cooking in the kitchen at this point.
Yeah, I mean, last two picks, see where it needs to go. But I do like the Benedetta. Like, I feel like it adds a lot. It's going to run at you, and it makes it even more difficult for Novaria and Carry to get away. And Bleed know that, any sort of hero that kind of chases after them with the Yuzhong ban and the Black Dragon, the Paquito, like, both of those are, like, hey, we need to protect our backline. So any sort of potential heroes that can kind of jump them is going to be a problem.
Xborg once again picked up for Bear most likely. Yes, he could be flexed into the jungle, and but I doubt we'll see JH playing the Xborg. JH loves the Fredrin. It is his main hero. So it seems like Bear picking up the Xborg once again. Third game in a row, my man.
Yeah, it's one of the most contested ones. Who picks it up? To be honest, I felt like even decent on bleed for the Xborg, so I think that's kind of why they kept it open. But the Paquito and the Yuzhong probably bigger threats, so it makes more sense. And you had the potential of giving it up, and Asterisk do pick it up, so it makes a lot of sense in this one.
Well, I'm really liking how Asterisk's lineup is shaping up right now with the Edith Earth Shatter, with the Fredrin Energy Burst, I think, as well as the Last Sandy coming out from the Xborg. All three of them have a lot of big round crowd CCs, and we see the Benedetta being picked up for the side of lead, as well as the Carmilla in the jungle, most likely.
Okay. You have a little bit of the sustainability, you have some damage, and you have mobility, right? And all of those things are good at this stage. Because the counter to Asterisk is somewhat tankier lineup is just, being really big and fat.
We saw the Carmilla being paired together with the Novara yesterday, which makes perfect sense, right? Paired up with the Star Shatter, Carmilla's ultimate is going to just connect all of Asterisk together, and the damage is just going to spread massively in a team that wants to group up, but we see it, Gleason!
Well, we haven't seen the Gusion in the longest time ever.
I'm speechless.
Wow. First time it's been picked, right? Zero bans, zero picks, zero bans.
Yeah, I believe we haven't seen a Gusion picked nor banned. And to add some extra spicing on top, Gusion is always played as a jungler in ranked games, but we are seeing Kiwi rocking the Gusion in the mid lane instead.
Almost in a must-win game, RL19, the coach of Asterisk, whips out this pocket strat. Let's see how it goes.
Okay, but you see, the Gusion makes sense, right? Because you're lumping all your enemies together, that's where Gusion really peaks, right? Because if you use the incandescence, he pulls everything in together, all his knives come in, and you just bring tons of damage to the opposite team. But we're gonna see right now, going into game 3 of the lower bracket finals, it's gonna be Bleed once again versus Asterisk. I am excited right now. My excitement is peaking, seeing Kiwi on the Gusion with the Petrify, by the way.
Oh yeah, it is a Petrify. I mean, it's definitely gonna be a fun game for us all. Understandably, they needed the burst damage coming in from Asterisk's side, and they identified that it's probably gonna be a good idea for them to find a way to really deal with people on the backline, such as Seiji and as well as Jay. They do have Yon that qualifies kind of as a battery with Seiji. It's almost the same kind of thing, whereby they try to go for pick-off kind of strat, because as long as Yon is able to hit the heavy spin onto someone right to a wall, that's a good long 3 seconds lockdown.
I am completely speechless still at the Gusion pick coming up from Kiwi. Excited and nervous. I think for the side of Asterisk, you see the Kiwi just exchanging a little bit of blows with Gear. By the way, Gear is not in the jungle. The Camilla's not in the jungle. Camilla is gone for Gear in the roaming position. So we are going to see Yon playing the Akai. There's so much going on this game, man. Yeah, so honestly speaking...
Here we go! Jay!
Up, Kiwi!
Got caught by FMM with a quick little onwards, and that is absolutely fine and dandy. In the meantime, we do have the turtle that is going to be popping out within 5 seconds, and Asterisk is more or less ready to take up this fight, because Jay, going down like that, puts him at level 3 and missing out one entire wave.
That's going to be huge coming in for the turtle fight. Oh, it looks like Jay manages to sneak in that last wave, but he does not hit that level 4. He
just barely.
Barely hit the level 4, so he's going to be able to use the echo to kind of spot out where everyone is. I hope the observer brings it back to the total fight because it is 100% happening right now.
Oh, immediately with the heavy spin, Sakitnu gets himself the turtle here. And amazingly, Bleed has now gotten themselves with the first neutral objective. Asterisk though, with the first fusion in SG, this is, well, there's quite a lot of things that they gotta have to prove for themselves.
All right, why is Jan he was not using his retribution on the turtle, and he just playing with fire almost and letting Sakitnu, I mean, gets the steal, which is very fortunate for them, but that seems a little risky to me, no?
If you look at the cooldown timers, right, of both retries are actually used almost in tandem with each other, right? So I think when JH saw the retribution so when Jan saw JH use the retribution, they figured out might as well use it, leave it onto Sakitnu to secure. Maybe.
Okay.
Or maybe it's just, the telepathy that went on between Jan and Sakitnu.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's very helpful for them. I mean, but okay, let's talk a little bit more about this Chu Roger against the Seiji here. I feel like Chu needs to be a little bit more aggressive. As I say that, it looks like he kind of scurried off Seiji a bit, but who are you giving the advantage to? Chu versus Seiji?
Chu should be able to aggro Seiji at this point and push him off the map, but it seems like Chu is playing for his team, trying to move around the map as the window of opportunity opens up as the minions kind of clash in together at the top lane. A little bit emote action happening from Seiji at top side, but pretty much the stock standard game so far, as we've been seeing, I think, in the past 2 games.
Kiwi taking a lot of damage here. He's going to help out with his Fenrir onto JH. FMM is going to make an appearance just to ensure that he's, everything is protected, nothing fishy is going on, and JH is happily able to farm. But now this is the turtle. This is the one that they really kind of need to start pushing for. Because again, the early game, very important for Asterisk, because that's their playstyle.
I'm looking at Kiwi to see whether he can show up, right? I mean, now he's looking, he's joining the fight. He does get spotted out by the Astral Echoes. Turtle being stolen by JH.
There's a lot of people just going to be knocked out right now, and in the meantime, Prazel's Wrath coming from JH. He did manage to clip on quite a bit of people. Yawn going down to the hands of FMM, losing out the Phylax. And such, it is going to be a single kill for the side of Asterisk, while also taking the turtle for themselves.
600 gold lead thanks to that turtle fight happening at the bot side of the river. JH had something to say about the previous turtle. Manages to retreat it before Bleed.
Okay, so now FMM is going to recall back to safety. A nice turn of events for Asterisk again. The early game champions, I would say. But okay, Kiwi here. I thought he was going to get gone out by here, so he doesn't be careful. We haven't seen too much. Yes, he's 1-0-1, and he does have a slight, at least XP advantage against Jay. But when do we see the Gujin kind of pop off? What does he need to get to that level?
He needs, I believe, if memory serves right, 3-item power spike followed by a team of them clumping together, probably being caused by an Earth Shatter from SNM or by the energy eruption from JH, and then from there do a huge 2, 3, 4-man ultimate and manage to just burst the entire team down.
Okay, so at least the Genius 1 is already built up on the Southern Fusion. It's still great that the Genius 1 has been built up, so at least when it comes down to squishier members on the side of the lead, it's a lot simpler and easier for Gujin to actually take them down. But the main problem when it comes down to being a mid-lane mage, at least for Gujin, is the fact that he actually clears wave extremely slow. So there must always be a constant rotation coming from the side of Asterisk to come in and help Kiwi to keep him around the map and keep him very, very active. If not, Kiwi would not be in most of the fights. In the meantime, the Curse of Blood just going to be activated only onto JH, surprisingly, while now we also do have the heavy stick that's going to be racked up. The Appraisal's Wrath just going to be connecting and very successfully gets a kill. JH follows up through with getting his total kill, and in the meantime, Energy Eruption connecting down here holds him down onto the spot, granting them the total of 2 kills and a single turtle.
That was not a fight that went in the way of Bleed. Astra still showing us that they are the early game kings. Almost 2k gold ahead at this point. Bleed losing the members one by one. Pretty unfortunate. Yon got caught by the full brunt of the lost insanity once again by Bear. Seems like a repeating occurrence.
Yeah, but one thing that Asterisk hasn't done is taken that net worth lead and turned it into some sort of objective. All three T1s are still standing. Yeah, you've gotten some turtles, which is great, but you know, it's one of those things where you can further push, further choke them out once you take those objectives. As I say that, it looks like they've taken the bottom T1.
In the meantime, down in the bottom lane, Sagitnu stuck within of the second Tefans turret. He's gonna go straight down, and thus far, we're talking. Well, I'm talking about Sagitnu. I haven't really seen him going around the map at all. No presence as a Benedetta, unfortunately, and understandably so, right? We're looking at a Asterisk that really requires them to move around a lot. In the meantime, hold on a second, as now we are looking at FMM just going to be granting himself out of 5 lakhs, but unfortunately, Seiji takes himself that 1 kill. A quick little flicker coming in from the side of Bear with the last Insanity, allows them to pick off 2 as they continue on to Sagitnu. He did manage to get himself a quick little dash away, but that's what we want coming in from Kiwi. That's what we want coming in from Gushin.
I love it. I love it. I love the pickoff there. The potential was on point. They were chasing them down. That's the Asterisk play style, right? Now, how do they turn this into a bigger lead? JH is looking to, push the mid T1, but again, that's so important. Yes, Seiji's down for the count, and he's back up right now, but this is the thing where, okay, you got to get something. You got to get more than just some kills at this point.
Yeah, kills, as we said earlier in the in between matches, don't really amount to anything unless you're able to do something with it, right? Asterisk now has 2 turtles in their pocket, 2 turrets. Bleed has only 1 turtle in their pockets, but a Lord fight is about to break out. First Lord.
In the meantime, I believe that we do have Kiwi all the way down to the bottom lane wanting to get a kill down onto Sagitnu. It's not going to be all that easy, though. But back to the main battle that we're going to have to look out for, and that is going to be the Lord's Dance. Asterisk is already posing themselves up in front of the Lord. The Lord's HP has managed to go back up to 100% already, as both of these teams have decided to reset that out all the way. Asterisk, though, you're gonna have to take a bit of time and wait things out. Kiwi's HP is down to half HP.
Conceal on the backside.
It's easy for him to actually do anything for now. Sagitnu is just gonna be joining into the fray. FMM unfortunately completely blocked down and unable to do anything. Chu, however, did manage to get himself a killing spree while Seiji avances onto Bear. Gets himself that 1 kill. Chu, I don't think they can continue on forward anymore. As such, Asterisk will now take a bow and leave with a losing fight.
1-2 for the side in favor of Bleed. Gold lead has dropped slightly, 3k gold only in favor to the side of Asterisk. I say only, but it's only 10 minutes in the game as well, so that's still pretty significant. But we have seen Bleed come back from worse, right? And oh wow, look at the damage being dealt by Kiwi, man. That's like 66% of Sagitnu's HP just gone with one rotation of skill combination.
It was decent. I mean, Asterisk right there, probably not the best fight to take. I felt like it was very disjointed. There wasn't really any target prioritization. And the fact that JH wasn't the main initiator or the guy getting jumped on, that's the target that you want, because he's just so tanky, and then everybody else jumps on top of him.
Middle lane, Kiwi got himself caught by Bleed. And now Asterisk, they are definitely not going to be looking forward to this upcoming fight, but now that the Lord is already lower than 10% or 50% HP, they really need to reset this. And if they are able to run away, it would be for the best.
I don't think Bleed is going to let them go that easily, though. Lord is at 33% HP, but with Gyrick dropping below 50%, I think both teams are finally going to leave.
Nice.
Be with the Lord.
A complete reset for Asterisk is exactly what they want. In the meantime, Bleed shouldn't have let it reset. Without Kiwi around, it is actually going to be so much better for them. And CG and J, they literally don't have to worry all that much.
Look at Sagitnu. Sagitnu manages to take down the tier 1 turret, but he's being matched by Kiwi right now. Sagitnu should be able to escape from the one from 1-to-1 head-on confrontation. But Roll is currently enhanced, guys. This is the first enhanced Lord.
First to start, but JH is going to eat a meteor right there, and Bear's still up in front. Nobody's really committing to this one. They're looking for the perfect potential start to this. Gear thought about going for it, but he's just going to more provide vision. Bear gets the speed burst. I don't think he's going to go for this. And again, the Lord Dance, it's a real thing, but with Sagitnu now making his way to the Lord, I think they will probably start something at some point.
Guys, take a look at how low JH is currently in terms of HP. He has to go and fight the orange buff right now to gain some HP because the meteors have just been hitting
Here.
Jay.
Yeah, where's the curse of blood? Where's the curse of blood? There we go. But unfortunately, he's just gonna go straight down almost immediately. Sagitnu manages to get a kill down on FMM with a 1-for-1 trade. But it's AG. Focuses on the Kiwi. He tries to run away. The Lycan has managed to get himself away from the grasp of Bleed. And they now understand that Bleed is going to be a very tough contender to work with. And the Star Shadow almost connecting down on the JH. Bleed found that opportunity. And now they will be moving on forward by destroying the first defense turret and the Lord.
Oh, Seiji, he's doing some damage. You gotta find him. I mean, we were mocking the fact that his range is somewhat short, but man, when you hit like a truck, it doesn't matter how far or how short your attack range is. It's enough. Seiji, his positioning has been on point. He's taken it over. And look at, yeah, Chu is 304, but if you're looking at that team fight, Chu is on the run.
I was just about to say, before this fight broke out, I was going to say that Seiji is 3-1 and 1, Chu is 3-0 and 4. Who is going to be actually more impactful in this fight? But it seems like the team fight painted the picture for me. Seiji showing off, like he's the #1 marksman coming into the playoffs, right? And this is the reason why. Even with the shorter range, he's still able to find his way, find his positioning in the correct spot so that he's able to output the most damage. And once again, the gold lead has swung over to the side of Bleed.
Yeah.
2K gold ahead.
Oh man, this fight.
The bottom lane inhibitor turret almost going down. Now the heavy speed coming from the side of Yon. He did manage to blast it on this Bear, but Bear did manage to run himself away. None of the members from the side of Asteris have managed to die as yet, but they did manage to drop down to an all-time low.
That was super close by FMM. Seiji was trying to blow him up. I mean, he's 5-1-1 and for a reason. And I think that this is a guy where, again, if Asteris cannot find Seiji, like, they should really not be fighting. They need to ensure that they do this. And another thing that we've seen in team fights is that Kiwi is kind of getting caught out. He's like, once he dies, then Asteris have a hard time really fighting. Again, you want JH to kind of be that front liner and then him coming in on the sides and things like that. But the team fights have not gone their way.
Yeah, for sure, but we can't count Asteris out just yet. There's still the potential for Kiwi to blow up the entire team. And keep in mind, Gear is actually pretty squishy right now. Gear doesn't really have a lot of defensive items built up yet. All I can see is that he has the Dom Ice as well as the Immortality built up, but that's it. He has a cape as well, but honestly, he's not that tanky as of right now, and he is getting blown up. He is getting caught out, but Camilla needs to be in the middle of things, right? So honestly, Gear is a little bit caught in between a rock and a hard place, but thankfully Seiji is there to cover him up, and he's able to take on the kills that, Gear was not able to continue on.
Okay. Bear right now, again, with JH, those guys are the frontliners. Chu and FMM have been waiting in the bushes for somebody to come in, not the right target. Yon, he gets, to safety at this point, but Bear now getting gone.
Bear got caught because everyone is just going to be hiding inside the zebras, but he's going to be okay. FMM is just going to be jumping over to the background, but unfortunately, Yon with the heavy spin pushes him all the way into Seiji, as now Asteris losing their FMM. Realizes that they no longer have their front line that they so desperately needs.
That heavy spin was just a snap away. Yon ready with a quick button press and just throws FMM all the way into behind the mid turret. Oh man, that was immaculate timing coming up from Yon, but he does not have heavy spin for this Lord fight. Ultimate economy wise, Asteris has everything.
Has everything, but Kiwi, he's getting focused. He does dodge the final blow.
The Electro final blow.
But the Lord...
Petrify has been already been used. That's not going to be good. But maybe Asteris is just going to be taking the opportunity to do something. The last sanity going to be popped. JH takes the Lord. Bear is going to be taken down throughout the midst of all of that. Yon just going to be running himself right into the face of Asteris, but realizes that maybe they don't follow on through.
Honestly, that wasn't too bad, I think, for the side of Bleed. Yes, they gave up a Lord and one enhanced Lord, but right now they have full map advantage. Tier 3 turret broken down on the bot lane. Top lane, Tier 3 turret very low. And they still are very healthy in terms of turrets, right? They still have all their mid lane turrets. They've got this Tier 2 bot lane turret. But honestly, they should be able to deal with this Lord and just run away. Keep in mind, they have the carry, right? Carry can just shred through this Lord in an instant. Saginu.
Oh.
Maybe Shadow Blade
Kiwi.
soft
Oh,
line.
no.
He did manage to connect on the Sagitnu, but unfortunately, he did manage to get himself away from the grasp of Kiwi. And now, with the heavy speed connecting on the FMM as well, Asterisk loses too.
Sagitnu being the bait for the side of Blade, drawing Kiwi in. Kiwi thought he had enough damage, but he was a little bit lacking. 2, 3, and 5 right now on this Grecian. Grecian still questioning the pick. I mean, it makes sense on paper, but he's not able to execute it fully.
I wonder if it's just like not really comfortable with the hero because Bear.
Petrify.
Petrify just gonna be connecting Chu as well as Bear needs to run for the hills. JH is gonna be the only one remaining, or rather, Chu and JH the only one remaining as the Star Shatter connects down onto Bear. Kiwi is now back in the game, and Bleed understands that time is of the essence, yes, but they cannot be complacent. They now fall back and wait for the right opportunity to spring back in the action.
Shatters Bear's hopes and dreams just like that with the one skill. Man, this timing is on point. Jay is amazing. It shows us why he's holding the highest, the trophy for the highest damage dealt in these past 2 games. Okay, well, look, Seiji is...
No, Seiji's been doing it. I mean, it's neck and neck, right, with Jay.
100%.
But Seiji has been... He like literally set him up so that Jay could get the snipe out with the meteor / donut. Whatever that shit is. I mean, he was just completely like tearing it up. But heavy spin.
Oh, Kiwi being locked in again. Oh, being caught again. This is not good for Asterisk. As long as Kiwi just keeps getting caught, Asterisk lose a huge chunk of damage.
A huge chunk of damage indeed, and a huge chunk of damage was thrown back at Kiwi's face. Kiwi getting caught like that is not what Asterisk wants. Honestly, this is a very surprising performance coming up from Kiwi. Kiwi, once again, typically has the highest KDA. I believe it's the second highest in the whole of MPL SG. So this is a huge surprise coming in into this game tree. But guess what, guys? For Asterisk side, I'm just gonna shrug this off, okay? Yes, it's the 3rd game, but they still have 2 more games that they can come back on. And by the way, this game is not over yet.
Yeah, not over, but still not looking good. I mean, the net worth lead at this point.
Oh no, the onwards. Fukami 5 didn't connect on anyone. At least Upshadow did manage to level 2, but his XP is not looking good at all. As he immediately go for the primal raft, he didn't even manage to hit anyone at the point in time. And now Saginu and Q, they want to focus down on the JH. Jay, his positioning, he really got really close to Bear. But now the rest of the members from the side of Asterisk understands that they can no longer fight for that Lord.
Asterisk having to play tower defense right now. All 3 towers stripped away from them. Lord going free to the side of Bleed. 5k gold leading in the 20-minute game. Guys, we've had 20-minute games back to back to back. These 2 teams are so darn close, and it's making things so exciting. If you look at it, I'm standing up on stream, and I don't think I'm gonna be sitting down till the game's over, man.
Still neck and neck at this point. Obviously, Bleed have that advantage. Where can they potentially screw up? And I feel like with this Lord push, you know, Asterisk right now, it's all hands on deck in terms of this base defense right here. But finding that opening, difficult.
Definitely difficult, as now we already have JH going down with the immortality as Seiji takes 1. The rest of Bleed, they march on. They're not going to be caring about the core just yet as Sagitnu brings Kiwi down. FFM's next, but perhaps what's not is going to be 2. And 2 goes down, the rest calls on as now the core is going to be taken by the hands of Bleed.
Cheers from the side of Bleed. That was amazing. Once again, Bleed was at the deficit. 4k gold lead down. By the way, 10, 6, and then 4. It seems like we're dropping. And honestly, Bleed is looking so much more in form. This is the Bleed that I knew going into the playoff stage. This is the Bleed that was playing in the regular season. And honestly speaking, they need to keep this up because my hopes and dreams of the 3-2 is still alive.
Still alive, as are mine. I think selfishly, I'm kind of more worried about Kiwi more than anything else because this was not a good game. And having a game like this, how does it shake you up, right? Going into this one, you need to win out the next 2 games to make me look good. And if he's not in the right state of mind, then we got a problem.
But look, Kiwi was trying something. I have to give credit to Asterisk, right? Asterisk trying out something in this game. If they don't try it out now, they have to wait until next season to try anything, right? So to be fair, trying out the Grecian was not a bad call in my opinion. The idea was there on paper, and having him as the last pick, of course, makes things exciting for us to cast, right? And this is the right time to pull out the Grecian. But I want to focus on the win. Who's your MVP for Bleed?
Yon.
Really?
Yon.
Akai. Just like that? Yeah.
Okay. He had some amazing lockdowns,
Yeah,
right?
it's all about the
yeah,
lockdowns
yeah.
for this game. Like I said before, it's very similar to the previous game. They just want to pick off. And
But Seiji,
Akai definitely.
I said it before it came out.
You did.
I did. And the reason for this is that he was just doing so much damage. He was just blowing people up where you had to respect out with Seiji. They could not find him. I mean, he was 8-1-7. Like, they could not find him. And wherever he was just blowing, like, literally, he was like John Wick, killing everybody.
That's his job!
No, but the thing is that it's his job, yes, but will he be able to pull it off properly is a different story altogether, right? Because you could be John Wick without guns and you just get slaughtered. You can jump in and then oh wait, where are my guns?
Yeah,
Right.
he was pretty well armed, right?
Yeah, so
He had his gun.
I have to say, with his light wheel, Seiji definitely pulled off this game properly. We talked about his positioning. We talked about how he was able to enter and exit fights when he needed to be, right? He needed to be where he needed to be, when he needed to be. Honestly, Seiji is the right MVP in my opinion. Yes, I have to give credit to Yon. Without Yon, Seiji may not have been able to pop up so well. So the best wingman, I guess, award goes to Yon in my opinion. But Seiji, congratulations. This is his peak form right now, 8-1-7 on the carry, 88% kill participation. We talked about marksmen's or gold lanes not having that high of kill participation. Seiji's proving you wrong otherwise.
How many percent was that? 88?
88%.
No, this just means that he's been very involved in team fights, and that is absolutely something that I love. As compared to Chu in the previous game, he had low amount of participation. So that is a stark contrast as to what happens when a team have their marksman versus a team that doesn't.
That is very, very true. As we look into this fight, I want everyone to pay attention to where Seiji is currently at, right? So Seiji enters the fight a little bit late. He realizes that the fight is losing, that they're losing the fight. He's trying to do as much damage as he can before dashing out. He's always at the outskirts of the fight. Right now, you see Seiji's doing damage, maximum damage to whoever's in front of him, right? So Kiwi gets blown up, FMM gets blown up, JH gets currently about to get blown up. Oh no, he survives. But look at where Seiji's at, right? He's not being too greedy.
Like, if we're looking at these highlights, you're seeing FMM go into the heart of the enemy team. And then he gets focused and he gets killed. I think that in terms of the way the team fight should have gone, JH needs to start things off. People need to go in, or Bear, right? One of those two, kind of start it off so that they do this. But Bleed, super smart, understanding how to take the right team fight. They were on point in terms of priority, ensuring that, hey, FMM is just going to control you. Let's just blow him up. You have, just the way that they kind of handled all that adversity was just really on point. Very well-coached team.
For sure, and then, this is, like I mentioned before, Bleed was playing like this as a team in the regular season. So this is what I expected to see from them coming into the playoffs. Now they're 2-1 in comparison to Astros. Finally, the team with more kills finally won the game. But let's look at the item builds. Right now, I mean, Seiji pretty much a standard stock build with the Winter Trunken being built instead of the boots, or changed for the boots in the late game. Chu actually not being able to change his boots for immortality yet shows that Seiji was that much more ahead than Chu was.
Well, one other thing that I'm looking out for is the fact that Sakino is looking at about 13,000 gold as well. I will assume that he haven't really managed to get much gold to really change the boots away as well. Kami, we're looking at Benedetta. Benedetta can definitely not require boots. Just gonna walk around completely bootsless, shoesless, and that kind of stuff. He still still can be relatively fast. But to be fair, Zaginu did manage to pick up a triple kill at the end of the game, so there is probably quite a lot of gold in the bank that Zaginu didn't manage to use because the game was just simply over.
Yeah, I have to say, I want to shift the attention over to Gear, right? Not in terms of his items build, but notice how well he was able to play around being blown up. I think in the earlier part of the game he was at 144 at some point, right? But even then he was able to come back from that and became a 1-4-14. So Gear, even though he was dying very early on, he was dying for his team, but he was able to make a comeback later on. And look, his items isn't fully complete either. He had the Dom Eyes for the longest time, he had the Cape for the longest time, and the Immortality, but that's pretty much all he had until the late game. So huge props to Gear for making it work with what he had so far.
Just really well played. I think the itemization was on point as well. Gear, don't count him out, right? I think that even if he might have a rougher start, he's going to find ways to make an impact in the game, and you've seen exactly what he can do, right? The fact that he ended up 1-4-14, just, miles, so to speak, in terms of the net worth, like 2K over FMM, which is pretty sizable at this stage. For a 20-minute game, I would say almost an expected way of winning by bleed, right? Everybody just understanding their roles and playing to the T. Like, you could have kind of put almost anyone as an MVP because they really showed up that game.
For sure. I'm very, very interested in True actually picking up the Master Assassin emblem, actually. 7% more damage to lone hero shows that he wanted to go after Seiji, trying to get kills early from Seiji, but Seiji actually kind of out-predicting that because, in lane, if you look at Roger versus the carry, in early game especially, the Roger carries a lot more of a kill threat, right? So I think both players recognizing that the advantages and the weaknesses they have, and True picking the Master Assassin showed how aggressive he wanted to be going into the game, but was not able to actually secure the kills early on against Seiji.
I'm sure that Seiji picking a full fighter emblem with the base common emblem made a very big difference in their laning potential as well. Being unable to die with the Brave Smite as well as the Festival of Blood, I'm pretty sure that it contributes a lot, which probably mean why Chu couldn't get all of these kills. In fact, it could also be one of the main reasons why Kiwi couldn't get kills off of Seiji, because of all these intermittent healing that Seiji is capable of getting for himself.
Yeah, it was tough. They weren't able to find Seiji. And again, Kwasong, you mentioned the fact that how Seiji's positioning was on the outskirts and he was like perfect, right? And he largely was with only one death. But I feel like Asterisk need to do a better job. Like, you cannot be taking any sort of team fights if you don't have vision. You don't know where Seiji is. You should not be fighting. Or you need to find out ways for Chu or Kiwi to just get on him to just blow him up, because you kill Seiji and it's pretty much this team is going to fold, right?
Yeah.
How much damage Seiji provides.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing is, if we look at the stats right now on the screen, Seiji, rich guy, Seiji carry. Once again, he's playing carry and he is the carry. 185k damage dealt. Not as high as Jay in the previous two games. Jay this time taking more of a support, a utility kind of role. But Seiji really being the star and stepping up to the stage. And not to mention Gear also being that wingman for him. 14 total assists. It's kind of nutty right now. Seiji and Gear, remember we said two players need to step up today, right? We need to see Seiji, we need to see Gear, and I'm glad that the two of them have stepped up. And whatever they're doing in the back of the room is working for them, man.
Yeah. And I mean, this is what we wanted, right? Like a better early game, because it shows more dominance in terms of this league, right? Where they don't have to come back from everything. And yeah, they were slightly behind, and Asterisk did have that, but Asterisk were never even comfortable in the early mid laning phase, right? So they were playing kind of on the back foot. They weren't able to get themselves going, and I mean, Kiwi kind of started off rough, and it's like a bad snowball for them, right? And Bleed were able to kind of take advantage of that fact.
It's almost like an avalanche, I think, for the side Astros, right? It wasn't really a snowball. One wrong step, and then they suddenly hear the rumbling coming, and then suddenly they get flooded, and they start screaming. "Ah!"
Yeah. Tough situation, right? And they need to bounce back. And Astros, there are, I like that last pick. We were kind of like wowed by it. It had potential, but never really got going. So I think it's like it's easy for us to criticize the draft, but I think if you check the replays, we were kind of positive on it. I think hindsight is 2020. But if they pick the same 4 other heroes and they just change that last one up, you know, I don't know to what it would have made a difference. I think.
I don't know, in my opinion, yes, it would have made a difference, but I think they wanted to try something new, and I think, like I mentioned before, it is the right time. What they need to change, though, however, I think that's and I think RL19 is definitely going to help them and give them feedback about the picks and bans, and perhaps they're going to change some things. But speaking about feedback, if you guys want to help us improve, do remember to scan the QR code right there above Holla's head. You know, do scan that QR code, fill in the quick survey. If you have any feedback, improvements, suggestions, I think for us on the desk, we're also more than happy to listen to your feedback. So you can drop Holler a message at Holler TV, or such Abstract on the relevant channels.
True, yeah. Just send me the positive stuff. Such Abstract will be taking all the negative feedback. He'll compile it. He'll make sure that it's all dispersed to all the other casters, but he's the one you want to yell at.
Yeah. I take in the criticisms just so that I have the opportunity to be the one to yell at them instead. It feels better to be the one that yells at them instead. So don't worry, I'll be your voice.
Yeah, don't contact me at all, guys. Contact these two. Okay? Just remember that. But yeah, speaking about feedback and speaking about changing things up, right? I want to hear what Kindofu from the Tofu Academy have to say about the changes that Astros perhaps need to make going into Game 4 later on.
Alright, it's time for a little bit more of Tofu Academy this time. Yes, there was a lot of shouting and screaming. In fact, if you were here at the live venue, you could hear the screams of Circuit News' name. And I just want to highlight this portion that kind of changed the state of the game for me at this point of the time. At this point, it looked like, Asterisk could turn it around, and they were chasing heavily for the kills itself. But here comes the godlike play we've been waiting for. Sir Gitnu, whatever results you have taken in the first two games itself, you have redeemed yourself today. What a play here, a 3-man petrify, allowing Bleed to really not just turn around the kills, but turn around the whole momentum and the mental state of your team as well. And from that point on, they went from taking a couple of kills to baroning the base of Asterisk here, and at this point there were a couple of things that I think now you should recognize that Bleed is a full-blown team that is ready and communicating with each other properly ready at this point, right? Jay here, of course, as we know, the main damage dealer, a lot of damage being laid down besides Seiji itself, allowing vision for the team to make sure that they get the next play, which I believe you will be very happy to see if you are a Bleed fan here. Number 1, this headbutt by Yawn. Catching out JH, if I'm not wrong, actually forces Chu to use his pounce to go back. He uses his wolf form to go back, which allows Bleed to have the luxury of actually pinning JH down, getting the benefit as well. At the same time, I want you to look at the combination provided by the roam this time here, taking that curse of blood, catching FMM Chu as well as JH in that mix of it. Now, in the meantime, while this is happening, Kiwi actually landed a strike onto Seiji, so that was why we have Earthshatter coming in from FMM later part of this fight here. This is the one where he jumped in, and at this point, you know what? Seiji, he has his mortality, he has quite a full life, if I'm not wrong, yeah, up to like 80% of his life points was still there, so he didn't mind it, and at this point, Sir Gitno is going to make a very small but very small play here, and he's actually going to use his skills to cut out the play, allowing him to
I'm finally standing up for myself. Love outshines the golden crown.
right? We kind of expected this, I think, in terms of predictions, we thought it was going to go to a game 5. To be honest, I wasn't sure who to pick at the end of the day. I did flip a coin and went with Asterisk in this one, but it could have gone either way.
Honestly, I just think that both these series that we've seen before is really starting to get a lot better. Like the first series tastes like chicken McCrispy. The second series tastes like McSpicy. Just get spicy and spicier.
Look, guys, you know, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I put a 3 and 2 for Bleed, but let me share with you guys why I chose Bleed over Asterisk. Because if you think about it,
Welcome to Mobile Legends!
if you think about it, right, I think I was actually hyping up Asterisk throughout the regular season. But in my opinion, the reason why
5 seconds till the enemy reaches the battlefield. Smash them!
Okay, so think about it. Yes, this season, it seems that he has been the coach as well as
Don't tell anyone that I
they
can't
know
swim.
what to do. For Astro, this, yes, they have some better players. This is the first time Astro coming to the O5, right? So even though they weren't really playing hot
Have you
the
ever
first
seen
game,
Dawn
they
of
came
Swan
back
Night?
because they know to play Astro tons. So in my opinion, this is why
There's a lot more pressure on it. We need to engage, right? Asterisk, on the other hand, community team.
You become what
at this
you
point,
believe
anything
in.
is gravy, right? Everything else is gravy. So this is a situation where I feel like the story of Asterisk really, if they were to quote unquote upset William, I think it would make a better story. But again, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. We just want to see some good MLGB. We're here, we're at game 4. You know this one's going to be a banger as well. 20 plus minute game coming off. If you want to see teams duke it out like 2 heavyweights, this is the game for you.
yeah, for sure. These are so close. It's so crazy. Other and honestly speaking, I am hyped, man. I'm going for the long run. These dudes,
Sometimes
see
I
the
really
drop
miss the
phase
apple
having
pies in the
started up already,
castle.
So let's dive right into it. Asterisk have banned out the Ramen counter as well as the Valentina, and on the side of
Okay.
these you see the band of last band with the Harris.
Maybe I'll find Lancelot.
And that would be funny if we actually were to leave that Harry. Out of the way. What else do we have?
Angela has so far lead something like a 5 Angela being the lead here, like fan of the fighter type rollers, so I'm very surprised he picked it up. And so we see Novari getting picked up. Novari actually being able to be played by both TV as well JX.
You may
here.
laugh
So
when I
Novari
say
is
this,
in
but I want to
Angela
decide
still
my
up. I don't
own
think
destiny.
Angela will be picked by the end of the drop phase.
Yeah, I don't know. It has play, obviously it's very good, but you do need somewhat of a strategy around it. And Dude right now, some characters actually can play as well. So they're looking to take away the characters.
Wait, they are dealing with a Terry is a very good underdog. It really thought really makes her think.
True love is worth an adventure.
Enemy
has been slain.
There's always
Ally has been slain.
just get caught out. So
This sword is a
they-
gift.
The only thing that they're lacking right now is prop control. They are
Initiate
lacking that
retreat.
by quite a far bit of margin. And
Ally has
then
been
wait,
shut down.
Definitely wave clear, and they're picking up the keto. They're just going with
You may laugh when I say this, but I want to decide my own destiny.
so there's a lot of control, a lot of damage. Good things there, but they're showing them they just want to run it. So how do Astros
Don't
respond?
tell anybody that
Most of the time,
under attack.
picked up no problem, but it's these are arguably good. Because,
Sometimes I really miss the
Astros
apple
have
pies in the
high ground.
castle.
As long as you ban the Eve as well as the Panzer, they are actually
An enemy
eliminating
has been
quite a bit
slain.
of
Ally has
for
been
the side.
slain.
Yeah, but you're,
Ally has
if you were
been slain.
as bleed, if you pick up like the Farza, like the use on getting to your back to like right now, use on right? But Roger, he probably wants to do the yeah, you need a range, you need somebody to kind of way too static.
No.
One of moving around at a base. I believe that if we want to begin with that point of view, this could also be another point of contention. Since I
Our turret is under attack.
far range, they do have a partner, they have Makito.
This sword
They generally can go for more of a pickoff strategy. They haven't really
The bushes, the rocks, all make me feel so alive. Amazing. I feel slain.
But if they just all melee, there are some gaps there. Yeah, we're gonna have a hard time there. And I think to balance it out a little bit, they need to go a little bit more squishy slash damage
A double kill.
made to come first. You need something to kind of round out your
Triple kill.
right now.
Maniac.
Kind of, you know, what else? Like, you probably need some more beef on that team, right? Team Astros?
Yeah, Astros definitely need some beefiness. They need some controls such as heroes such as T-Grill, Akai. They are all really standard picks that we can definitely expect.
Your team destroyed the turret.
It is may actually be a better idea. They want to play Camilla, only that Camilla is still a decent pick because they can have and they can carry all the things carry
Double kill. Triple kill.
You got the whole
Maniac.
frontline guys that want to kind of, that can quickly, you know, disrupt and push people around, so you have a lot of ways to kind of carry the target. You know? On the other hand, of course, picking up the Grok, going with the four-man, you know, 1 and 2 melee scrap, I see some potential issues.
Victory.
And what's that? What is that? Those melee guys.
Ah, of course. High ground is definitely the issue.
Yeah.
And there's no way that they.
Lost
Okay, there we go.
There you go.
To target that, we do have a Sicilian that have pretty good high ground.
Yeah.
The bad impact itself have got massive amount of damage all across the board. So, and also, it does seem like this is the first official Sicilian game in MPL SG.
What's with these mid laners picking these off meta picks? First we see the Grecian, then we see the Sicilian. Guys, we are in for a long game.
Even though this is like the first Sicilian MPL SG Season 7, it doesn't feel too off of a pick. It feels as though we have seen it quite a lot in previous seasons or something along those lines, because Sicilian is a very hard hero. Or hard as in when it comes down to consistency as well as when it comes down to growth, Sicilian can definitely stack up quite a fair bit, and it's pretty scary and annoying to deal with once we reach the late stages of the game.
Yeah, Sicilian has a passive where he gains, I think, more mana as long as he hits an enemy hero with his skill, and the more mana he gets, his ability skill with that, right? So he's gonna hit harder the more he hits his skills, and the later the game grows, the more his damage is going to grow. So we are in for round number 4, I believe, of MPL SG Season 7 of the lower bracket semifinals. We have Asterisk versus Bleed Esports. Right now the score is 2-1 to the side of Bleed if you are just joining us. And wow, if you're just joining us, you are in for a ride, and you need to go and watch the first 2 games.
First
3 games.
Three games. Yeah, I mean, like, look, every game has gone the distance in that sense, and it comes down to the micro plays, like the little late game decisions, and that's kind of what's turned this one on. Is that it's been so interesting because you have something that's like, you know, you're making mistakes, and how does the other enemy team capitalize, right? Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, you don't have the stomps, you don't have the full control that you might see from, you know, some of the other teams, but these are 2 evenly matched teams that really want it.
Yeah, being evenly matched is just so nice to watch because you're seeing some pretty high level gameplay, I think, coming up from both sides. You see, yes, mistakes being made, of course, but, you know, it's high gameplay nonetheless. And I'm excited to actually see the gold lane a little bit more because you see Seiji versus Chu. The tables haven't flipped this time. Seiji on the Roger, but I have to give credit to Seiji. Seiji does look like the better Roger player overall, so I want to see how much of a difference it makes in this matchup.
All right, back in the top lane, Seiji and Chu. Okay, we're gonna jump to the turtle here. Bleed Esports probably pushing back FMM. He does need to deal with this. Now, Akai is still up in front, JH that is. He will be scared away, I would think, but this is gonna be a close one here.
The Astro Echo acts up as well as they have the spin, but unfortunately that's not quite enough for Asterisk to do anything at this point in time as Bleed manages to take the turtle for themselves. But here comes the big black dragon coming in from the side of Bear, just going to be racking on havoc and should be able to build a decent amount of shower residue, but not quite onto gear just yet. As such, it is going to be expected of Bear to go down because it didn't really hit all of that shower residue for him to stay alive.
FMM died as well, so it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Bleed. By the way, they also got the turtle, so this time Bleed is taking the lead at 1.4k gold lead 3 minutes into the game. That is actually pretty significant for Bleed. We have seen them, once they got a lead, they haven't let go of that lead, and taking the lead this early in the game, Astra's not looking too great of a shape.
Yeah, and Bleed right now, we're seeing the growth of this team, right? We saw them struggle yesterday. They bounced back. They figured out how to win. They faced adversity even today. For the first 2 games, they bounced back and they got themselves back in.
In the meantime, the final slash has already been expanded from FMM, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be too big of a deal. So now the rest of the members from the side of Bleed, they want to put a lot more emphasis down on the carry to try to make sure that carry don't get as much farm as possible. And in the meantime, also trying to get the snowball going for CG too.
Snowball going for Seiji, but Snowball going for Jay as well. Keep in mind that this hero is going to keep growing, and he is going to grow exponentially the more he hits his skills. JH looks like he got caught out in position.
Immediately with the heavy spin, disengages himself to ensure that he's got the right passageway to go home.
Or create a passageway to go home, I suppose, in this case.
He's gonna make his own way. He's gonna get himself into the jungle. Gear's chasing him down, and he's gonna miss the barrier though. So it looks like Bleed Esports though, being the aggressors, pushing it out, like forcing them back, and then now turning this into hopefully what is looking to be a turtle here. But Gear just being like, he's been doing so much damage.
Yeah, so much damage coming out from the side of Bleed. And we see Jay actually licking his wounds as he has to recall, but we see Turtle being taken away by Yawn. It's a free Turtle at this point in time. 1.7k to the names of Bleed. Gear going really deep though.
Oh, just to go in for a single power of nature? Well, Okay, the fact that he would be able to run away is not that big of a deal, as the Cyclone Eye sends him on his way back home.
I mean, he attracts so much attention. He had 3 of the enemy team from Asterisk like forced onto him, and he literally just walks away. He zips on out of there. He's fine. So you're doing what he should be doing as a roamer, attracting a lot of attention by being just like this nuisance.
I mean, look, that's what a Grok does, right?
Yeah.
He goes in, and then he walks out whilst holding his first skill, and he just walks away. He's like, hey, guys, contact.
In the meantime, Sekidnu, he did manage to rack up quite a bit of damage on the side of Kiwi, but the final splash connects down to Sekidnu. Unfortunately, the Sanguine Claws from Jade did not quite manage to land on the
Here, it's almost similar. FMM and Gear just kind of going at it, and FMM is just like, just get me out of here, man. Get this big old beast away from me, man.
There's
They
nothing
go
they
beetle.
can do to one another, though.
Yeah.
They just slowly play around.
Yeah.
At this point in time, it's just Gear and FMM just feeling each other out. And they don't have anyone that can be conclusive in terms of damage unless Chu comes here. But Chu's positioning is actually pretty darn scary. But luckily for Asterisk, Bleed actually don't have all that much of a crowd control they can really work with, unless Gear goes in for a surprise wild charge. But for now, speaking of surprise, the heavy spin is indeed a surprise, and that combination battery between the Arlet and the Archive presents itself with unlimited dashes that brings Gear down.
Gear playing with fire a bit too much, too often that is, and he did get caught out. Didn't really expect JH to commit the heavy spin, locks him in, make sure that they do get that kill. So now this is going to be an opening. Yon going in.
Immediately, FMM lost half of his HP already. Akai is still going to be holding on to the turtle while Bear immediately pops off with the Black Dragon bomb. He's just going to be creating quite a little bit of menace, while in the meantime we also have the final strike just going to be landing on, bringing Yon down. Jade suffers down a lot more of that kill. But now FMM returns himself back to the fray. Was hoping that he would be able to do a little bit more, but unfortunately he doesn't have any more dashes. Well, Kiwi lands the Star Shatter right down onto the Grok, but not quite enough to bring him down.
That was massive. There's a tempo swing still on the side of Bleed. Bleed is extending this lead. This is how you extend leads, right? When you are ahead. That's absolutely crazy. As we take a look in this replay, yes, JH managed to lock up Gear with this heavy spin, but he doesn't have the heavy spin for this fight. It would have been great if he could spin away Bleed for this team fight. But as you see here right now, yeah, exactly. The barrier was paramount for the side of Gear. Honestly, that was a very, very well played team fight for the side of Bleed, noticing that JH does not have this heavy spin for the turtle fight, went all in and came out the winners of that fight.
It's scary that Seiji got 2 kills in that one. Jay has been quite amazing. I mean, he's got a 2-level difference against Kiwi. He's 005, he's been there. Just like the amount of AoE damage that he's been doing in team fights has been on point. Gear, again, we talked about the power of this guy, and his just positioning and the way he even positions the barriers, really, really next level, right? This is a guy you've got to be careful of.
I think the one other thing that's really scary is the fact that Gear is constantly in the opponent's jungle. That means that Asterisk no longer have any form of privacy. Bleed will always know where Asterisk are, and if they want to set up for anything, Bleed is ready to play their macro game. In fact, this is very reminiscent to how Bleed used to play last time. Having a Cho, having a Grok, they're just going in. Speaking of going in, it is going to be a burst of damage down onto FMM, and FMM couldn't even utter a single word before going down without a spark.
Oh, Yon with the disrespect, finds the recall button, makes sure it works, spams it a couple too many times, but now, again, back into the mid lane. Gear, you talk about the fact that, you know, Asterisk has no privacy. I think Gear was actually even looking in the dressing room of Asterisk, like, no privacy whatsoever. I'm just kidding, I don't want to go there.
No, but man, dude, you're talking about real estate, right? Dude, Bleed is just smashing in their homes once again. Poor Asterisk does not have a home to live in. I mean, look, the jungle is supposed to be the quiet place, the place of, you know, perhaps extra farm they could take, but even that has been stolen away from them. Lord has been taken away by Yon. Once again, 7k gold lead for the side of Bleed. I have yet to see Asterisk come back from such a deficit.
Okay, we'll never say never. My prediction is still in play. I am a little worried, if I'm going to be completely honest. I do think Bleed are really Like, this is a team that's starting to, you see the growth, like just how much better they've gotten even from yesterday, just the way that they're playing. And Asterisk are kind of playing scared. They're playing on the back foot. They're playing not to lose, which is not going to win you too many games.
Honestly, I'm extremely worried for Asterisk because right now, Bleed's composition, one of their main damage dealers, is actually a late game hero. And the very fact that Asterisk is not even at the late game yet, they are having so much issue. An issue it is at hand, as we have JH already been taken down. Gear went in with a wild charge. It did manage to land on someone, but look at the Appraisal's Raft, and it just managed to do quite a lot of damage. But for now, Yawn is going to go straight down though. So it is going to be a 1-for-1 trade between both of those junglers.
Sicilian is just outputting so much damage. And this is only mid-game, guys. We haven't even hit the late game and Jay is already chunking people down with his bats.
The answer to Jay actually is Bear, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem like Bear is incapable of doing anything at this point in time. The amount of items that he have, I don't think that it really is anything at all. With the Dreadnought armor, Hunter Strike, as well as a single robe, he don't have that much that can really work for him. If he really wants to stand a chance, at least against Jay, then at least when it will probably only when he gets himself the Radiant armor.
Yeah, and even then, look, he has to go through Gear, he has to go through Yon, he has to go through Sakito before he even reaches Jay. And Jay has, I mean, Sicilian's range with the bat impact is not, it's not small. He's able to bat impact people from distances away, and he can still group them up as well with Sanctuary and Claws. Honestly speaking, the Sicilian pick into this team makes sense.
High octane play as we do have Yon that's just going to be starting in the fight first. We're using his retribution, allowing JH just going to be coming up from the northern side and just rushing on through with the heavy spin. But for now, Bear is just going to be fighting on the back lines, and we are looking for that very specific play. But unfortunately, as I said before, without the Radiant armor, you will not be able to do much to Jay. As such, Jay brings him down. Seiji continues on forward with a killing spree down onto the Akai, leaving Kiwi all alone as a Novaria to stop this upcoming push from Jay as well as Seiji.
Jay has also just picked up the Blood Wings. Honestly, this could just be a game-ending push, maybe?
No, it can't be. It can't be.
Not too early.
Yeah.
I'm just hyping it up, guys.
Like, could it potentially happen?
No,
No, hold your horses. No, we're not dead yet. But I mean, Seiji, look, 302, like, his target prioritization has been on point. Like, forcing it out, FMM is 1, 4, and 3, but Asterisk, again, back foot. They have no way to get to the Lord. They have no room. The Gear's barriers have been on point. They've been blocked out. Gear's spotting out everything. Very difficult situation for Asterisk.
Gear is the human ward that Bleed needed, right? And he's playing Rock, one of the heroes that can get in and out of places and still survive. Honestly, Gear is the MVP right now in my eyes. I mean, being able to provide so much vision to the side of Bleed gives them enough information to decide what they want to do, right?
This is interesting. JH is only at level 12, as such his retribution level is way lower than Yawn, but yet Asterisk went in to try to actually speed up that Lord process. In the meantime, I believe that the fight is about to start off as Asterisk is just really getting themselves in and really just punching out on the Bleed, but the Lord eventually reset it, and Asterisk, they're back to square one.
Honestly, I think this is Bleed trying to bleed Asterisk out, right? They smell blood in the water. And the thing is, Sicilian with 266 stacks is massive. He's gonna be outputting so much damage with his bat speed and bat impact. As well as Seiji's so low.
Bear, he's just gonna be jumping right in, but unfortunately he's not able to catch on to Jay. So what exactly can he do right now? Absolutely nothing! As Yawn now have managed to get himself the Lord. So Kitnu gets a kill down on 2, leaving Kiwi all alone, all again, and Bleed, they are gonna be marching in as a absolute unit of 5, even with a Star Shatter, Astro Echo, everything that they want to bring in coming from Kiwi. What can he possibly do? So Gear charges right in with the wild charge, and Bleed does the impossible and regained their mentality, getting themselves the 3-1, knocking Asterisk out of the competition.
I just like to put it out there once again,
Shut up.
I called the
Shut up.
team again.
Shut up. Shut up.
Congratulations to Bleed Esports for securing their spot in for tomorrow. Right? Who would they be facing again? Flash?
RG.
No, RG. Oh,
RG.
man.
No, I mean this is a great confidence booster for Bleed Esports. I think that there's so much momentum. The guys are smiling right now. There's a sigh of relief. All of these guys are just kind of like, there's so much pressure, right? You need to perform. If you were to get knocked out and you were going to be the 4th place team, they would have had some struggles, right? That team right there, this is a much needed win. The fact that they won yesterday, they won today, and now they're going to move on to the losers bracket or the losers finals speaks volumes about the how tenacious this team is and how much they really want it.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. You know, a great sportsmanship coming out from both sides of Bleed as well as Asterisk. You see smiles from both players, even though Asterisk just took the L. But huge congratulations once again to Bleed. It was a spot well deserved. And, you know, like I mentioned before, I am glad